Yeah, welcome to the Thursday edition of the show with me, Yemi Adebayo. Well, this lovely Thursday evening, some very good things to talk about, talking about rewards and fulfillment of promises made years back. And we're going to be talking about all of those things on the show tonight. We'll continue with our countdown to the Olympics, very important to us, as the days roll by, less than a month to the Olympics, and we're gradually getting to that point where the biggest sporting event on the planet will happen. We'll fill you in with what is happening in Tokyo and by extension in Japan. We'll also talk about the European Championships. We'll talk about rescheduled match in the Nigerian Professional Football League. At some point, we'll give you a slice of tennis. And the Copa America flying under the radar as well. We're going to talk about it. Brazil, very comfortable. They've won 3 matches and nobody can catch up with them. So it's safe to say that the Seleção, they're through to the quarterfinal. Of course, in each group, 4 teams will qualify to the next round. Each group has 5 teams. This year's Copa America going on in Brazil. So it's going to be very interesting. You need to sit down, relax, and be ready for a swell ride on the show tonight. Let me quickly introduce my partner on the show. He's going to start the show with me, and we're going to be on this ride together. Hopefully, we'll land safely. Bolu Omoni joins me this lovely Thursday evening. Bolu, greetings to you. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, good to be here again. Just today, after the drama of the group of death in the European Championship, a certain Ronaldo hitting the landmark again. Just a few hours after his, act rival Lionel Messi also hit another landmark for Argentina. You talked about the Copa America, and then the NPFL rescheduled game. At least Enyimba are now winning their rental derby after a long drought. And everything just become interesting. Like you talked about the Olympics, even though we are still having 1 or 2 issues here. The friendly, all the off-the-field shenanigans between the Nigeria-Mexico games, NFF here, coach here, team here, and everything. But again, no matter how much you look at the bad things in sports, there would always be beauty. And if nothing, I think the man of the moment is Cristiano Ronaldo. And I love the communication between himself and Ali Dyer was like, okay, great man, getting to beat his record at home. And Ronaldo's beautiful response. That is what sports is about, respect and beauty.
All right. I'm talking about Cristiano Ronaldo. It doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon. Looks like a machine, well-oiled machine. And to think that he's 36, looks like he can play for 4 more years. Who knows? And it's going to break a lot of records. But we're not starting there on the show tonight. We're going to start differently. And like I said in my opening, we're talking about promises made and promises kept. Fulfillment of promise made in 1994. And now we're happy to talk about the promise being kept. Let's talk about this. The members of the Super Eagles 1994 squad that won the Nations Cup in Tunisia, all of them have will receive their allocation of 3-bedroom flats that was promised them, and this is courtesy of the President Muhammadu Buhari. And of course, we talked about that squad that won the Nations Cup in 1994. A lot of them are no more. Some of them have died, some are living, but it's good to hear. In a statement released today by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, we're talking about Garba Shehu, he disclosed that the President has allocated the houses to the 1994 Eagles squad winners of the African Cup of Nations. And the statement reads that President Muhammadu Buhari has approved allocation of 3-bedroom houses to Super Eagles squad that won the African Cup of Nations in Tunisia in 1994, making real a promise made by the federal government, a part of what was read. And of course, it is worthy of note that 6 players had already received theirs. 6 players and 3 technical crew members are already released. So the rest on that list are the ones getting their houses. And some of the players on that list: Peter Rufai, Aloy Agu, Ike Shoromo, Uche Okechukwu, Samson Siasia, Efani Koku, Sunday Olise, Benedict Eroa, Isaac Semitoje, Mutiu Adepoju, Emmanuel Amunike, Victor Ekpeba, Hostin Egoevon, Wilfred Agmonobara was passed on, and others are Uche Okafor, who's also deceased, Thompson Olia has gone on, and Stephen Keshi, the big boss captain of that glorious 1994 team. And you also have some members of the crew as at then, some of them also who are no more, will still get get what was promised to them as at that time. All right, so it's a time to it's a time of joy for all of those players and their families who got that promise a long time ago, talking about 1994. And tonight on the show, we are joined by one of them, fondly called the headmaster, talking about Mutiu Adepoju. And a lot of smile on my face because I was a very young boy when the Super Eagles won the Nations Cup and had that promise then. And I wasn't very happy that it didn't happen then, but now it has happened. And I guess I could say congratulations are in order. Thanks for joining us, Mutiu Adepoju.
Yeah, good evening. Thanks for inviting me. It's my pleasure to be here with you.
All right. It's good to note that you guys, I mean, can you explain to me how you feel about all of this? I mean, how it feels that promise that looked as if it wasn't going to happen, but now assurances at the highest level that you guys will get what has been promised to you.
Well, what can I tell you? I mean, I'm very happy about it. Just heard the news, like an hour ago. And I'm not in Nigeria at the moment. So, somebody sent the release, the press release to me. It's something that, we have been looking, forward to for so many years. 27 years, being promised. And what I can only say is that, I want to thank the government, President Buhari and the Minister for Works for listening to us. We have been pushing this for a very long time, and I think we've been heard, and they are doing it for us. I'm so happy about it, and I believe my colleagues will be happy too.
All right. Have you spoken to any of your colleagues who are still around? I know you guys are in touch. When you heard the news, I'm very sure you put a call across to somebody to say, I'm hearing this. Have you heard it too? Is it true? Did you do something like that?
Yes. Immediately I heard, I sent it to Ikeshiromu, because, it's very close to me. And, I sent it to Aloy Ago too, because, both of us, we have been trying to move this, for some time now. And I was only able to talk to Ikeshiromu, and some other colleagues have not been able to talk to them till when I was called. And I believe every one of them will be happy about it.
All right. We always say better late than never. Some of you are still around to receive the promise, but for some of your colleagues who have passed on, it's difficult. It's good that the promise it's being kept, but how does it feel? You are around, got the promise, you're receiving it, but for some of them, do you think the feeling for their families? Do you think the feeling will be the same as you are right now?
Well, it might not be the same for the family, because the truth of it is that receiving it when you are alive, is good. But it's better late than never, like you said. And I believe their families will be happy too, because it's what we work for, and what was promised is just unfortunate that they are not here. But I believe from them may God bless their souls, and continue being with their families. I believe their families will be happy about it.
All right. There's always been this talk about people talking about labors of our heroes past, some people not being recognized, but for all the things they've done for Nigeria. But with this, do you think this will encourage the youths to know that they are not forgotten, and when they serve their fatherland, they will be rewarded if promises are made?
Definitely, it's going to encourage them, and I would also encourage them that even without being given anything, being promised anything, playing for your country is one of the greatest things. At least for me, that's the way I feel when I always feel, even up till now. If you are not promised anything, but representing your country is one of the greatest things that one can do. And I mean, I'm always, I mean, happy, I mean, to represent them in Nigeria and all that. But I mean, even with that, I mean, being promised and I mean, fulfilling the promise, I mean, we'll encourage, I mean, them and I mean, we'll make them want to play more, I mean, for the country. So I think, I mean, we are on the right direction.
All right. I want to talk about 1994, but on a different level. I want to move away from the reward. I've not asked you this question before, and it just came to my mind, and I'm going to ask you now. That moment in 94, that moment in 94, okay, when you guys won the trophy, can you describe what it felt like? Do you still remember anytime you watch the clips, anytime people ask you questions, when the final whistle was blown, and you realized we have won?
Yeah, I mean, I always remember, and I mean, it's, I mean, feelings that, I mean, one cannot just, I mean, explain. Representing your country and, I mean, getting to win trophy. The final, though I didn't play, I was on the bench, and I mean, but it feels great when you win something for your country, and I mean, you know that, I mean, you're going to take, I mean, this trophy to your country, and everybody, all Nigerians are going to be hailing you and all that. It feels great, and I mean, it's one of the best things that, I mean, can ever happen. I feel great and feel honored to be part of, I mean, the squad that won it and that qualified Nigeria for the first time, I mean, in history for the World Cup. And I always, I mean, anytime I remember this, I mean, I always, I mean, thank God, and I always feel very, very fulfilled.
All right. Do you think, for some of us who were able to see that 94 team, was a very young boy, but I remember, I mean, to see how you guys qualified, eventually won the Nations Cup and went on to the World Cup, beating teams like Bulgaria and Greece, narrowly losing to Italy. For those of us that saw that team, we're hoping that someday we'll get to have a Super Eagles that will be like that, will be world beaters, and as a fan, you watch the Super Eagles and not be afraid of any other team playing against us. How far do you think we are away from getting a team like that, that the fans will be so confident about, that even if it's Brazil, we'll say it's just a game?
Well, I think, I mean, we shouldn't be far from it. We have, I mean, set of players that, I mean, playing very well now. We have, I mean, dedicated players. I mean, I think, I have not been to the camp, I mean, but, I mean, from what I've been hearing and, I mean, what I've been seeing, I believe that, I mean, we have, I mean, a set of players. I mean, it now depends on, I mean, the management of the players, the system, and every other thing, because, I mean, it's not only the talent that you have, I mean, managing the team and the camp and trainings and all that, and the tactics and all that, I mean, it's involved. And I just believe that, I mean, we are getting near it. I believe, I mean, I hope that, I mean, this set of players, I mean, are going to get to that, I mean, level that we are talking about.
Okay, I hope so too. As a fan, it will be very good to have a team on that level, and if we are lucky, better. Before we let you go, I mean, talking about rewards and everything that has happened, you know, and also looking at the younger generation, do you think there's still the incentive, aside reward, do you think there's still the incentive to want to play for Nigeria? Because we're having, back in your day, a lot of people would do everything to get into the Super Eagles. But nowadays, you have a lot of players who could possibly play for the national team but shy away. Do you think there are incentives to play for the Super Eagles like in your days?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what, I mean, it's been, I mean, paid, I mean, to the players. I mean, but I believe, I mean, they are, I mean, paying them the allowances and the bonuses, I mean, very well. I think, I mean, incentive is very, very good, I mean, in players, I mean, because, you know, when you play for the country and, I mean, there are so many of the players that are the breadwinners of, I mean, their families and all that, and, I mean, they will want to get them something and all that. And, I mean, part of the incentive is, I mean, what we are talking about today, that, I mean, promised and being fulfilled, though it's late, but I believe, all these things, are going to encourage, players to play. But, nevertheless, it is not the main thing. How do I put it? The players, the passion that the players, have, for the game and all that is, one of, the main thing. Then, after that, if they are doing the right thing and, doing things, very well, their bonuses and allowances being paid when they are in camp. I think it's one of the things that is going to motivate the players.
All right, Mutio Adekpoju, fondly called by a lot of us the headmaster. I want to thank you for your time. You're a very busy person. We appreciate you taking our time to be with us, and congratulations once again.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
All right. So we've been speaking with Mutio Adekpoju, the headmaster. I mean, aside the Super Eagles, Bolu, I also have fond memories of Mutio Adekpoju from the under-20. Back in those days, his progression into the national team, Senegal 92, all the way to USA 94, seeing that squad. And now is a good day. That promise was made then, and has been kept, not forgotten.
Well, we heard it's been allocated. I hope allocation is not the way. Those days when you hear the approval is different for disbursement, I hope it's not the same thing. But
yeah,
I like that when.
But we have to accept that the biggest hurdle has been crossed.
Yeah, that's the thing. Okay, now you could go. Okay, well, let's wait for the president. Now it's not in the president's hands now.
No.
I've given approval. I've signed this thing.
Yes.
I've allocated Abuja, Ibadan, wherever. These guys' houses should be here.
Yes.
So it's not left to those in charge and involved. I hope we won't have to wait this long for any promise, because the promise was not made by a person. It was made by the president. And they're still president, and they will always be president on this. So I think it's sad that it's late. But again, like he rightly said, better late than never. Now they have it. Those that never had properties before now can boldly say, I am now a landlord and everything. Like he rightly said, it will maybe inspire some other young guys. Okay, well, I think from now on, when we get promises, it will be fulfilled. Again, beyond that, I'm in Nigeria. I tell people, I represented my school in private university games. I knew the feeling. When we got to go, that feeling, oh yeah, we went to Puga games. So now imagine representing your nation. So beyond, that's why sometimes when the foreign guys don't even complain about not getting paid, is the fact that I can represent my nation, it's a different pride entirely. Now having incentive, it's another plus on the side. So don't worry, if you want to play for Nigeria, come on, you get your houses.
You get your rewards. All right, since talking about rewards, guys, let's move on the show, and let's talk about Nigeria's only individual Olympic gold medalist. And once I finish that statement, everybody knows the name that I'm going to mention. Chima Ajunwa, the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has rewarded Chima Ajunwa with a 3-bedroom flat, and this happened today. Of course, he is now an assistant commissioner of police. She will get that 3-bedroom flat at the Babatunde Raji Fashola Housing Estate in Iponre, and this was pictures from that incident. I mean, we're talking about the labors of our heroes past. This also at that point flew under the radar. We were so focused on the football team, only for us to hear that she pulled off an amazing feat, blew the field away, and still a record. I mean, let's just listen to the Lagos State Governor and obviously happy Chioma Ajunwa talk about everything that transpired today.
Chief Mrs. Ajunwa will continue to remain our own role model. She will continue to remain an athlete par excellence. She will continue to remain as a reference point for sports, journalism, and everything that sporting relates to in our country. And you can see that she's a true demonstration of the can-do spirit. She came back after that Olympic, and she went back to serve the country as a police officer. And you can see today, she's in the rank of Assistant Commissioner of Police, working the rank and still being of duty and service to our motherland.
That is why they said delay is not denial. and you have to be consistent in what you are doing, and you know that it satisfies your conscience. I want to say a very big thank you to our governor and to entire Lagos State. I don't know the word to use to qualify the way I feel. Actually, the governor made my day. And it's a lot of encouragement to the youth, which has been my passion, which has been why I'm still struggling to make sure that our youth use sports instead of crime. Today is a lot of encouragement, a lot of motivation to each and every one of us, even those that are still expecting something like this, that in as much as they are still living, there's hope.
Buenas, Pedro. ¿Cómo estás? A ver, muy buenas. ¿Le dejamos elegir a ellos o como queráis? ¡Buena, Pedro! Vamos, eso es. ¿Sí ven? Hay que meterla ahí, hay que meterla al área. Hay que meterla al área. ¿Listos? ¡Ya!
All right, welcome back. And of course, I mean, joyful moments there, looking at what had just happened with the Super Eagles 1994 squad and Chima Juma being rewarded for heroics at the Olympics. So talking about the Olympics, let's continue with our official countdown to the biggest sporting event on the planet. We were talking about barely over a month. Now it's less than a month. 29 days to go to the Olympics, and everything is pointing in one direction. We are going to have the Olympics. Scaled down, whatever name you want to call it, but we're going to have the Olympics, that's for sure. Tokyo Olympics 2020 to be held in 2021, but we're going to have the Olympics. So 29 days to go, Bolu. And again, I would say, are you feeling the vibes?
Reality is getting
Yeah.
It's getting there's nothing anybody can do about it. Disaster. And in terms of feel well, it's hard to feel it now when Ronaldo just decided to be Ronaldo over yesterday. Euros is taking all the shine. After the game yesterday, we saw fixtures terrible, as many interesting fixtures. So I think, like we rightly said a few weeks ago, focus is not on the Olympics for now. Everyone is watching the Euros. Yes, even Copa America is not taking any attention for now. I'm sure when the Euros is done, when it clears, then the Olympics will be like maybe 2 weeks away.
Yes.
That's when everybody, oh, now we are getting close. Then people start doing, probably seeing different strategies of different countdowns and everything. But for now, I think the Japanese know the NOC knows that the attention is not on them. So now they are doing their plans style by style. I'm sure everything is ready now.
Yeah.
In terms of preparation, welcome, introduction, everything is set. It's just about, let's just keep practicing and getting ready. The touch really is still going on the low key, and everyone is moving
Without
on.
sounding like someone that has bias, the Western media had to shift attention to the Euros.
Their tournament, yeah.
So all of those stories about protests, about they didn't have time to
yeah.
do it because everybody's focused on the Euros. Let's talk about something that's happening right about now. The touch relay currently going on in Shizuoka, one of the prefectures in Japan, and the residents are happy. They lined the streets for the touch relay. But this is rare because we've seen places where nobody came out.
Yep.
We've seen places where they were just on one spot, but this one, people came out. It must be said. It feels a little bit different because these guys, some of the guys that were spoken to said, we are happy that this touch is passing through our city and we cannot wait for the... I mean, just look at the bus terminal. Everybody were there. The streets, people were there. You can see drone shots. You can see people lined out. I mean, this is probably the one with, if not the one with the highest number of crowd, but at least close.
It started with nobody.
Yeah.
Just the team, the person with the touch relay and the team around. Steadily, we started having one or two persons on the road. Even at the point, they didn't need ropes on the line because people were not there. Suddenly, it started moving to seeing children, students waving from their classroom.
From a distance.
Now, people are now coming out.
Lining the streets.
If those that were scared in terms of the origins, if they were scared before, the indigenous of the states were scared, now they are coming out. Well, I think nobody should be scared. Those outsiders should not be scared because now they are believing this is happening. They are probably thinking of the business angle to themselves. So it's a reality now. Like the fact that attention is not even on them, nobody's reporting anything about them. They have enough time to think about themselves, to think about the Olympic Games. In 2-3 weeks now, people will be like, okay, yeah, the Olympics is here. What is the first game? What sport is coming out first? When is the athletics? Because that's what almost everyone wants to see. When will all these events unfold? Now it's going step by. Look at people around applauding. When the first 2-3 days, the first week,
I mean,
there were no people around. No, nobody's coming out. If you are seeing anyone, it's probably someone walking by. But now there are people everywhere. They are believing in the Olympic Games. They are believing in their country.
Yes.
Remember, their country said yes, but they were still skeptical about it. But now they believe in everything about the Olympic Games. Another reason for us to be excited about 2020 Olympics in 2021.
And I must say, all of the protests have been in Tokyo. All the other places in Japan, we're not seeing the kind of protests that we're seeing in Tokyo. I just wanted to
We are
put that
waiting
out.
till it gets to Tokyo.
Okay. All right, so let's move on the show. We bring it back to Nigeria and talk about badminton. And we're done talking about the Olympics. Let's just talk about what has happened to the Badminton Federation of Nigeria. Something related to Japan, but not about the Olympics. Badminton Federation of Nigeria has received a boost with the donation of 80 rackets from the Japanese Badminton Association ahead of next month's Tokyo Olympics. The presentation was made by the Japanese ambassador to Nigeria to the chairman of the caretaker committee of the Badminton Federation of Nigeria, as you can see in your picture, Francis Obi. An event took place at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium in Abuja. You also had the NOC President Abu Gumel in attendance, a representative of the Sports Ministry, and some members of the caretaker committee. And this is good, you know. I think you were here the other time we spoke with Francis Obi, and some questions about, I mean, this sport being elitist and all that. How do you get your starter pack, the racket and all that? This will go a long way to help.
Especially for the up-and-coming players, the young guys that want to get there. And I think it's becoming a norm now. I listened to even the president of Squash Federation. He also talked about them getting, I think, about 70-something rackets. And also, this is what we want. If you're a young person, okay, I can afford it, no problem, get what you want. I can't afford it, it means definitely there will be rules to follow, there will be terms and conditions, but to a level you know something will be provided for you. And now this will also bring another relationship between Nigeria and them, because if they can do this, I'm talking about Japan now, if they can give out, okay, extending, they can decide not to, nobody cares, but they decide, probably maybe they wrote to them. But I'm sure they are not the only ones they wrote to, and they decide to accept.
And I think one of the reasons is that Nigeria has qualified for the Olympics for the first time in 12 years, and they're looking at that. Let's encourage
more,
these guys, and so we'll see. It's the first time ever for Nigeria to qualify for the men's doubles at the Olympics. Let's just take some reactions from that event. We'll come to discuss more on badminton in Nigeria.
I'm really glad that Nigeria, the biggest country in Africa, is going to participate. Of course, most exciting is the participation of Nigerian badminton players in the men's doubles and women's singles. So our desire is to support your team going to the Olympic Games in Japan, ensuring an effective and successful participation in all the games. I'm looking forward to seeing Miss Eniola Bolaji at the World Para-Badminton Championship in Japan this October. She had made history as the first Nigerian African to win a gold medal at the 2021 Spanish Para-Badminton International Championship.
We are not only just qualifying for the Olympics in badminton first time in 12 years. History also has been made. It is the first time that Nigeria will ever be playing in the men's doubles at the Olympics in badminton. It has never happened before. So, Your Excellency, you obviously have done a lot of work because in your speech you mentioned Eniola Bolaji, her feat at the Spanish Para-Badminton Championship. It was the first time an African was winning a gold medal in any international Para-Badminton Championship. And coincidentally, with that victory, Eniola has qualified to play at the World Para-Badminton Championship that will be taking place at nowhere else but Japan. So everything happening in Nigerian badminton now that is success is pointing towards Japan.
All right. Nothing left to be said. Hopefully, we'll have a good representation in Japan, and by extension, there'll be improvements in the sport here in the country. And something worthy of note is they've taken notice of some of the efforts that Nigeria is making, and hopefully the game will grow in the country. All right, let's leave badminton and go to karate. That's our next port of call. The Karate Federation of Nigeria has confirmed that the more national championships will be held, to pick young athletes for the country in future international competitions. Of course, this followed conclusion of the second National Open Championship for junior and senior athletes in Kefi. Karate competition, and that's good. This one just ended in Nasarawa State, and I think you've said it before. The issue we've always had is some of these federations, you tend not to sympathize with them when maybe the sports ministry come and says, "Oh, your time is up," and because what have you been doing? What are your activities? And so when we begin to see all of this, sometimes it makes us happy that okay, you guys at least doing something. Then when the issue of funding comes. Funding for what? Then you could say funding for things like this.
Even if you start doing different events or competitions, you get brands that way. Because if you go to a brand that, okay, I need to sponsor, if they ask, when was the last time you did anything? You start racking your head, okay, I think 2 years ago, last year. No, you have a problem that way. But if you show them what you have, like a proposal kind of, this is this, our winner for last year is here, it encourages whoever wants to drop money to support you. Then, like you rightly said, the sport ministry can believe, oh, you are doing something, not just you are sitting back and the money we gave you last year, what happened to it? Yeah. I'm not saying the ministry shouldn't support them, but effort as well. And they talk about getting the next stars. Yes, some of the easiest way we hear America, always collegiate sports, high school this, collegiate that. Those are the best places you hardly see anyone that will probably lie about their age to get to secondary school and university. You have all these things down. Then invest in all those tournaments. Use those competitions. Go to schools and arrange. That way you get, look at Chioma Joan, for example. She's a police officer and she competed. It means despite serving, She had talent. Look at even African Nigerian tournaments. You hear Police College. Those guys compete. Well, it means they are doing something despite being busy. So get into schools, get into secondary schools, universities, and harness your talent. Who knows? The next maybe karate world champion can be a secondary school boy. I'm sure at the Olympic Games, the Chinese, those guys don't wait till you get to university. Right. You see kids 12, 13 and competing at the Olympic Games. We can also do the same thing.
All right, so more to come. That's what the Federation is saying, and we hope to see more. All right, let's move on. We have a lot of ground to cover on the show tonight. So we're done with karate. But let's just take a reaction. I think it's only fair we do that. Let's take a reaction and listen to what the Federation is saying.
The essence of this championship is to get young athletes that will replace the aging ones in the Federation. We have aging athletes that are in the top 10 at the African level in their various categories. And they are aging. And we need younger athletes that can represent this country. We have a championship, an international championship in Niamey in July. And we felt this is the right time to get our acts together to start a new program that will culminate or that will get matured in the next 3-4 years. Perhaps in the next 3-4 years, we will have a brand new set of athletes representing Nigeria at various international fora. We have gone to the secondary schools to get our cadets. We have the cadets from the secondary schools. But for this championship, we don't have cadets participating here because of the academic calendar. It would be wrong distorting the calendar of the secondary school students. We hope that in July, when they'll be on holiday, we'll get our cadet to join us in the international championship in Niamey. We had them in Mali some times ago at the cadet level, and we are in Nuga. That you know. We are at various levels of our institutions, and so it's laudable. We're happy with that achievement, and this we've been able to do within the Federation, ensuring that we tax ourselves, we get resources within the Federation to sponsor this championship. We are happy with what we get from the federal government to complement our efforts in terms of at the international championship, like the All-African Championship, where it's been sponsored by the government, but other levels are being sponsored by the Federation.
All right, so a lot of updates on karate in Nigeria, and as we always do, wish the Federation all the best, because Nigeria has everything to gain, so obviously we wish them all the best. Bolu, let's go to the king of sport, football, and talk about the Nigeria Professional Football League. And you said it a while ago, if Enyimba start winning their rescheduled matches, they will climb up. And now they've climbed up one spot to the 5th position, courtesy of an away victory over Abia Warriors. First, I know we have a lot of ground to cover, but first, are you surprised with the result? Were you expecting a win? I thought it was going to be difficult.
Yeah, especially
the best they could get was a draw.
Especially since Abia Warriors moved to Okigwe, they've been scoring very well. And anybody who gets there, you don't go back with the points. You lose. Almost all the teams that have been there, they've lost the game. And then you going by Enyimba's record in recent Oriental derbies, minus the last one they won against Enugu Rangers, you think, well, maybe the best Enyimba could get is a draw. But a certain Victor Mboma, again, has, I think in like 5 of their like 6-7 games, he's been scoring the first goals. Suddenly, it's not good enough to make the lookout, but I think it's a good win for Enyimba, very good win.
All right, good one for the Aba Elephants, also known as People's Elephant. And that's a confirmation of the result. And thumbs up to the team, thumbs up to Victor Mboma, very consistent player, and he's been scoring goals plenty for Enyimba. All right, let's move on and talk about the feast of football that we've been seeing for the past week, a little over a week now. We've seen the best of football on display at the European Championships. All right, Bolu already talked about a group of death. He lived up to the billing yesterday. At some point, any of the 4 teams could have crashed out. At some point, it was dangerous for France.
Exactly. Even for Portugal themselves, although France would likely still go as best loser before the game. But
at some point, they weren't going to qualify as first.
Best loser is what sent Portugal to Belgium now. So it means they all needed to qualify automatically. The table was just shifting. Yeah. If not for an 84th minute goal from Germany, Hungary would have been the one in the next round.
Would have qualified ahead
of Germany. So I think from the first match in that group, that was Hungary-Portugal. You knew this was going to be an interesting game. Moving on to Germany-France, then the second game, Germany destroyed Portugal in that game 4-2. Then France struggled against Hungary. Then the final, both games ended 2-2. It means those games were not just walkover, they were very interesting games. And the star boys in those games stepped up. Portugal, Ronaldo, well, Benzema chose the right time to score his goals and his return for them. And he had good games. So there were beautiful matches yesterday. It showed why everyone has been saying this is the group of death. Unlike other groups where you had 9 points, maybe 7, no, nothing like that. They ended the group with 5-4-4-2. Interesting group for me.
All right. Let's take a look at the round of 16 fixtures. Mouth-watering. I mean, you just open your mouth and tell yourself, I'm not going to miss these games. Wales will take on Denmark. Italy will take on Austria. You have the Netherlands will take on Czech Republic. Belgium will take on Portugal. This will be a cracker. I would have loved to see more of these two teams in the tournament, but unfortunately, one of them has to go home. So round of 16. And let's see some other fixtures in the round of 16. I know Bolu will be spoiled for choices, but I mean, you have to wrap it up in 2 minutes. Croatia will take on Spain. France will take on Switzerland. England, Germany. Wow. Let's see what will happen in that one. And Sweden and Ukraine. Wow.
It feels like this is set by set.
Yes.
The top teams in qual, the top teams facing each other in the world, the lesser oppositions facing each other. Sweden are the team people are not looking at. Yeah. You don't break down that Swedish side. They are just too big. To score a goal against them, you have to oversweep. But the top of the fixtures definitely Portugal, Belgium. That, like I said, everyone expects maybe a Portugal, Belgium to get to maybe semi-final or final. Fortunately, you have to meet here. Italy, Austria. I told guys that what happened in the group stage does not matter now. No second chances. So Italy have been impressive. They've done well. They've set their new national record of unbeaten, not conceding them. But it's not the same thing. They have to continue in the knockout stages. And the way Austria are playing, Alaba playing on the left. If it's in the central defense, there's trouble. But whenever he plays on that left, there's huge game from him. Then another game to look out for is the Croatia-England. The Croatia-Spain. That would definitely be a midfield battle. Luka Modric against Sergio Busquets, and Koke is, well, no Real Madrid player there. It means he's facing all his enemies in Spain. He needs to do more than he did in the game against Scotland. Beautiful goal of the season, or tournament contender for him there.
I still don't understand, even I don't want us to dwell much, I still don't understand why Thiago Alcantara is not getting playing time.
I don't know. The young, what's his name, Pedri is doing well. But I think the likes of Omar and Kwak don't really see them again. Thiago Alcantara should be starting almost all their games. Yeah. But he's the one getting the checkbook. So if anything happens, Madrid fans are waiting for him.
All right. We need to go on a break right about now. We need to just take a breather. We'll go on a break, come back for more, and we're back to wrap things up on the show. We're on the home stretch just about 5 minutes ago. But you were saying something about England and Germany. I must say both teams are struggling.
Well, exactly, but Germany have probably been performing better, sort of. Fortunately for England, they've not considered any goal yet, but they've got just 2 goals, and the goals from Raheem Sterling. So based on what we've seen so far in this tournament, you may say Germany will give them a tough time, but they are on the easy side in quotes. So anyone who picks a win from that game may have better chances of going further. But there's a certain Netherlands on that side. So there's no easy fixture so far. I think all the games are evenly balanced, aside the Italy-Austria. But again, there's no easy game in football, especially when you get to the field of play.
All right, let's move on and talk about Cristiano Ronaldo. 109 goals, guy's a machine. I mean, I don't know what else. Of course, I don't get into comparisons with Lionel Messi. I just want to talk about the guy, Cristiano Ronaldo. And he's tied with Iran's Ali Daei, 109 goals. I don't know what else to say about this guy. I mean, I know football is a team game, but Ronaldo is a threat to anybody.
I saw a quote from Luka Modric saying he had his best years in his career, and Cruz has won the World Cup with Cristiano Ronaldo. Not that, like I say, he's the only man, but when he's there, you know you're in trouble as a defender, as a goalkeeper. Even the match they lost before the game, someone said anytime it's Neuer, Ronaldo, you know there will be goals. Don't just forget about it. And he showed why he's one of the greatest goal scorers of all time. I was scoring in Euros, I was scoring in Champions League, I was scoring for Portugal, I was scoring for almost every competition he has played in. I think he may not be the greatest for some persons, but you can't mention the great players of all time. Definitely Cristiano Ronaldo will be there.
And you make bold to say he's going to surpass the.
He will definitely surpass because Ronaldo is going to the World Cup. That is certain. And there will be 6 games qualifiers before World Cup. There will be friendly matches. He may even set his new record against Belgium in the next game.
Wow. All right. Cristiano Ronaldo. What a guy. What a player. Some of his doctors said he has a body like a 26-year-old.
Even though they told him that. But one interesting, there was a time he said he had to change his diet to suit his new routine. That's someone who always wants to win. I saw a picture of while he made his debut at Euros, and now still look the same.
All right, so I guess that's where we have to wrap things up on the show. We got to go. Our time is up. Just quickly tell you that UEFA have decided to scrap the away goals rule in all its competitions. So that's just coming from UEFA. All right, that's how we have to end the show today. Hope that you've enjoyed it. First, I want to thank Bolu for his time on the show. I must say, always a pleasure having you around.
Yeah, definitely. Always interesting being here.
All right. Thank you as well for allowing us to be a part of your day. We enjoy doing this. We'll be back again for another edition tomorrow. It's going to be the last one for the week. Enjoy your night. We'll see us again tomorrow. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.